If you've been cruising for a while, you already know that not every cruise line is built the same. And here's the honest truth. What worked for you 10 or 15 years ago may not be the right fit today. The lines have changed, the crowds have changed, and what we need from a cruise, as we get older, has changed too. After more than 20 years of sailing most of the major lines, I've watched this industry shift in real time. Some lines have leaned hard into the party crowd, the family market, the thrill-seeker demographic. Others have quietly doubled down on the things that matter most to those of us who've been cruising for decades: comfort, service, value, and a pace that actually lets you enjoy the experience. So today, I'm breaking down the 7 best cruise lines for cruisers 50 and older heading into 2026. Not just which lines made the list, but why they made it, what they do differently, and equally important, what you should watch out for on each one. Because every line on this list has a catch, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise. Welcome back to Seasoned Cruisers. If you've been sailing for years, maybe decades, you know this channel gives it to you straight. No cheerleading, no filler. We cover what actually matters to people our age. If that sounds useful, go ahead and tap the thumbs up before we get into it. It genuinely helps the channel. And subscribe if you haven't yet, so you don't miss what's coming next. Now, a word on how I put this list together. I'm not ranking these lines by which has the biggest ships or the most flashy entertainment. I'm ranking them by how well they serve cruisers who value comfort, thoughtful service, good food, manageable ships, and a passenger base that isn't mostly there for the nightclub. I'll note when a line skews toward a specific type of traveler within our age group because a solo traveler has different needs than a couple celebrating an anniversary, and someone with mobility considerations needs to think differently than someone who's fully active. I'll flag all of that as we go. We're going to start with the more obvious choices and build toward the ones that surprise people, including one that almost nobody in our age group is talking about yet and probably should be. Stay with me for that one, because it changed how I think about value in this industry. Let's get into it. Number 1, Holland America line. If you ask most seasoned cruisers over 50 which line feels most like home, Holland America comes up more than almost any other. And there's a reason for that. This line has built its entire identity around a slightly older, more experienced traveler. The average passenger age skews higher here than on virtually any mainstream line, and the onboard atmosphere reflects that. It's quieter, more refined, and the pace of the day doesn't feel like you're being rushed from one upsell to the next. Holland America ships are mid-sized by today's standards, generally between 1,500 and 2,500 passengers. That matters more than people realize. You're not walking a quarter mile to dinner. The elevators aren't a contact sport, and the staff tends to know your name by day 2, which sounds like a small thing until you've spent a week on a ship where nobody knows you exist. The food and beverage program has genuinely improved over the last few years. Their signature Pinnacle Grill Steakhouse is worth the surcharge, somewhere in the range of $40 to $50 per person, and the main dining room holds up well compared to competitors. The Exploration Central programming, which replaced the older enrichment lecture format, leans educational, and that tends to play extremely well with our crowd. What to watch out for: the fleet is aging in places, and some ships have not been refurbished as recently as you'd hope. The Rotterdam and New Statendam are the newer additions, and those are where I'd steer you. Also, their itineraries lean heavily toward Alaska, the Caribbean, and Europe, solid choices. But if you want something more exotic, you'll be looking at their Grand Voyages, which are excellent but carry a significantly higher price tag. Number 2, Princess Cruises. Princess occupies a very interesting middle ground. They're not as formal as Holland America, not as loud as Carnival, and their demographic sits comfortably in the 50 to 75 range. They've made genuine investments in what I'd call comfort-forward cruising. Their new ships include what they call the Princess Suite Collection, which offers some of the best mid-range suite experiences you'll find on a mainstream line. The Medallion Class experience is worth mentioning here. It's their wearable device that lets you navigate the ship, order food and drinks from anywhere on deck, and track your travel companions. I know some people our age hear wearable technology and immediately tune out, and I understand that. But this system is genuinely intuitive, and once you've had a drink delivered to your exact lounge chair without getting up, you'll stop arguing with me about it. The practical benefits for anyone managing mobility or simply wanting a more relaxed stay at sea are real. Princess also has one of the stronger programs for solo cruisers in the 50-plus demographic. Their solo cabins are limited, but do exist on newer ships, and the single supplement pricing, while not cheap, is less punishing than several competitors. What to watch out for? Princess was acquired by Carnival Corporation, and some of the cost-cutting that has crept through the broader Carnival portfolio has touched Princess as well. The all-inclusive packaging, what they call the Princess Premier Bundle, can genuinely save you money if you drink, use Wi-Fi, and plan to do specialty dining. But run the numbers before you buy it. If you're a light drinker who doesn't care much about Wi-Fi, you may be paying for things you won't use. I've seen plenty of people buy the top-tier bundle and come home having not gotten their money's worth. Now, before we go further, we've already covered Holland America's comfort-forward reputation, Princess's technology edge, and the real differences in how these lines serve travelers our age. If you want all of this laid out in one place, you can refer to Every Time You Book. The Season Cruisers Complete Pack goes much deeper itinerary tips, what questions to ask before you ever hand over a deposit, the fees worth paying, and the ones that aren't. The link is in the description, and you can scan the code on your screen right now. Grab it and keep it close, because the next few lines on this list get into territory most people don't research until it's too late. Number 3. Celebrity Cruises. This one surprises some people in our demographic because Celebrity has worked hard in recent years to attract younger travelers, and to some extent it's worked. Their Edge-class ships, the Celebrity Edge, Apex, Beyond, and Ascent, have a very modern, design-forward aesthetic that can feel a bit more millennial than some of us expected. But here's the thing. Celebrity's service quality and food quality consistently rank among the highest in the mainstream category, and that matters enormously if you've been around long enough to notice when service has gotten thin. Their Aqua Class and above offer truly excellent experiences. The Blue restaurant exclusive to Aqua Class passengers is one of the best alternative dining rooms at sea. Full stop. The all-inclusive model Celebrity moved toward a few years ago where drinks, Wi-Fi, and gratuities are bundled in works better for our demographic than most. We tend to drink consistently through the day, use the internet, and the math often works out favorably compared to paying a la carte. It's one of the few cases in this industry where I'd say the bundle genuinely tends to deliver. What to watch out for. Some of the older Solstice-class ships feel noticeably different from the new Edge-class ships, and not in a way that works in the older ships' favor. If you're booking Celebrity, try to land on one of the newer vessels if possible. And the onboard vibe has shifted. You'll encounter more group events, more entertainment that skews younger, more pool deck noise than you might have experienced on Celebrity a decade ago. That's not necessarily a deal breaker, but it's real, and worth knowing going in. Number 4. Viking Ocean Cruises. I want to spend a little more time here because Viking has done something genuinely unusual in this industry. They built a premium ocean cruise line from scratch with a very clear target passenger in mind, and that passenger looks a lot like the people watching this channel. No casino, no children under 18, no formal nights unless you want them, itinerary focused, destination driven, calm. The ships carry around 930 passengers, which is intimate for a mainstream vessel. Viking's included excursion in every port is something worth understanding. Every voyage includes one destination highlight tour at each port. It won't always be the best excursion available, but it's solid, it's included in the fare, and it gets you off the ship and oriented without paying extra. For those of us who have watched port excursion costs balloon to $200, $300, $400 per couple per port, that's not nothing. The ships themselves are Scandinavian-designed clean lines, natural light, no gaudy decor, excellent cabin storage. The bathrooms are larger than average, which matters more than people admit. The beds are genuinely good. The walking track is easy to use. Everything feels like it was designed for adults who have high standards and don't want to be managed like children. This is the one I'd call the sleeper pick on this list. It's not cheap. Viking Ocean fares sit comfortably in the premium tier, and the all-inclusive price can look intimidating before you break it down. But when you factor in what's included, the excursion, the beverages with meals, the Wi-Fi, the shore excursion credit, the effective out-of-pocket is often more competitive than people realize. What to watch out for? Availability. Viking sells out. Their most popular itineraries, Norway, the Mediterranean, the Baltic, are often booked 12 to 18 months out, sometimes longer. If Viking interests you, you cannot shop it casually 6 months before sailing. You plan ahead or you get what's left. Have you sailed Viking and found it as good as the reputation suggests, or did it fall short somewhere? I'd genuinely like to know, drop it in the comments, because this is one of the lines where opinions in our demographic vary more than you'd expect. Number 5. Cunard. Cunard is a line that polarizes people, and I find that interesting because the polarization almost always comes from people who had a mismatch between expectation and reality rather than from a genuine flaw in the product. Cunard is formal. It is deliberately, unapologetically formal. The Queen's Grill and Princess Grill for suite guests are among the most genuinely luxurious dining experiences at sea on any mainstream or premium line. The ballroom dancing is real, the afternoon tea is real, the dress codes in the main restaurant at dinner are real. If that sounds like a wonderful way to spend a week at sea, and for many of us it does, Cunard delivers at a level that very few lines touch. The Queen Mary 2 is worth discussing on its own. That ship was built for transatlantic crossings, and sailing from New York to Southampton or the reverse is an experience that has no real equivalent anywhere else in this industry. 7 nights at sea, no ports, rolling ocean, morning walks on a real promenade deck, lectures, the Canyon Ranch Spa, the planetarium. If you've never done it and the idea appeals to you at all, I'd put it on the list. It is not like anything else. What to watch out for? Cunard's newer ships, the Queen Anne launched in 2024, have been criticized in some quarters for softening the Cunard identity slightly to appeal to a broader audience. I think the jury is still out on that. The Queen Mary 2 remains the flagship experience and the most consistent. If you're a first-time Cunard cruiser, I'd suggest starting there. Number 6, Oceania Cruises. Oceania sits in the upper premium tier just below the ultra-luxury lines, and it earns its reputation almost entirely on the strength of 2 things: the food and the destinations. The food on Oceania is, without exaggeration, some of the best at sea. Their partnership with culinary programming and the quality of the main restaurant, Red Ginger, and Polo Grill have been consistent talking points among experienced cruisers for years. If you care about what you eat and you've been disappointed by the declining quality of main dining room food across mainstream lines, Oceania is worth the price difference. The ships are small, the Regatta class carries just around 684 passengers, and even the newer Marina and Riviera class top out around 1,200. That size lets them access ports the megaships cannot, which opens up itineraries that are genuinely different. The Greek islands, the Dalmatian coast, the smaller Norwegian fjord villages, the Japanese coastal ports, these are itineraries that only smaller ships can do properly. Oceania passengers tend to be well-traveled, curious adults who care more about where they're going and what they're eating than about the waterslide situation. In practice, that means a passenger mix that many of us find extremely compatible. What to watch out for? The price. Oceania is not a mainstream fare, and it's not pretending to be. You should also know that their excursions can be expensive, and their O-Life included amenities package, which gives you a choice of free excursions, a beverage package, or shipboard credit has changed in structure in recent years. Read the current package carefully before you book, because the value calculation is not as straightforward as it looks. I want to pause here for a moment, because number 7, the last line on this list, is the one I get the most questions about, and it's also the most debated. I've seen seasoned cruisers completely divided on it. Stay with me. Number 7. Azamara. Azamara was part of the Royal Caribbean Group for years before being sold off as an independent brand, and that transition has allowed them to double down on what made them interesting in the first place: destination, immersion, and small ship intimacy at a price point below Oceania and Silver Sea but above the mainstream lines. The Azamara model is built around what they call Azamazing Evenings exclusive night events in port, often cultural performances or private venue experiences that you simply cannot replicate on your own. The ships there are 4 of them, all converted R-class vessels carrying around 690 passengers stay late in port and overnight more frequently than any mainstream line. If getting off the ship and actually spending time in a destination is important to you, and if you've grown frustrated with 2 or 3 hours in a tendered port surrounded by 4 other cruise ships, Azamara's operating model is built to address that complaint specifically. The onboard experience is inclusive in the way that matters most. House brand beverages, gratuities, and a couple of signature nights are built into the fare. The service levels are high, staff-to-passenger ratios are favorable, and the passenger mix skews toward experienced international travelers who tend to be curious and relatively low-key. What to watch out for? The fleet is older. These ships were built in the late 1990s and have been refurbished multiple times, but they are not the fresh modern vessels you'll find on Viking or Celebrity's Edge class. The cabins are smaller than on newer ships. The standard veranda room on Azamara is comfortable but not spacious, and if you're someone who values space over destination depth, that's a real trade-off to consider. This is also the line I'd call the most genuinely polarizing on this list. Some of the most enthusiastic repeat customers in our demographic are Azamara loyalists. Others try it once and find the ships feel too dated for the price point. I've seen the argument go both ways, and both sides have valid points. What I can tell you is that for travelers who prioritize destination time over onboard amenities, the model is hard to beat at this tier. Now, a few things I want to flag that didn't fit neatly into any single entry. Carnival, Royal Caribbean, and Norwegian Cruise Line are not on this list. That's not an accident. These lines are genuinely excellent for what they are: large, high-energy, family-oriented experiences with enormous ships and something for everyone under 45. But they have moved deliberately toward that market over the last decade, and the product reflects those priorities. The megaships are louder, more crowded in the common areas, and the entertainment skews younger. That doesn't make them bad cruise lines. It makes them a mismatch for what most of us over 50 are actually looking for. If you have grandchildren sailing with you and the family cruise is the whole point, Royal Caribbean in particular delivers a genuinely impressive family experience. Just know what you're buying. MSC is a line I'd say is worth watching. They're improving. Their yacht club product within a ship concept offers a quieter, more premium experience even on their largest vessels, and their European itinerary depth is strong. They're not quite consistent enough across the fleet to land on this list with confidence, but the trajectory is positive. Now I want to hear from you. Looking at this list, is there a line you'd move up, move down, or remove entirely? Especially if you've sailed one of these in the last 12 to 18 months and found the reality different from the reputation, that's exactly the kind of ground-level information that helps everyone watching. Leave it in the comments. I read every single one. A few final thoughts on how to use this list. The mistake most people make when looking at best cruise lines rankings is treating them like a universal answer. They're not. The right line for you depends on what you actually want from a cruise, what you're willing to pay, how you feel about ship size, whether a destination-heavy itinerary matters more to you than a content-rich sea day, and yes, what your physical needs and preferences are in terms of cabin, walking distance, and pace. None of the lines on this list are going to be perfect for every person watching this video, but they are the 7 that I believe most consistently serve the 50-plus traveler with seriousness and respect. If there's one thing I'd leave you with, it's this. The era of the all things to all people megaship has made it genuinely harder for our demographic to find the right product by accident. You have to be deliberate. You have to research. You have to know what you're signing up for before you hand over a deposit. The lines on this list reward that approach. They've been built in various ways for passengers who know what they want. Next time I'm covering the 15 things seasoned cruisers do differently on embarkation day. A few of them are so counterintuitive they're going to make you rethink everything you've assumed about the first few hours on board. Subscribe so you don't miss that one. If today's video was useful, a thumbs up goes a long way, and I mean that sincerely. It helps this channel reach more people like you, which is the whole point. Smooth seas, and I'll see you next time.